In this lesson, we're going to set up our track boundaries. Alright, so now we have our level all set up and just done a little bit of set dressing, adding some trees here and there, even added some of the mud obstacles and things like that. And so you can take a look at the prefabs of what I've created and you can create those. It's the exact same process that we've been taking so far. So now what we want to do is we want to set some boundaries. We want the player to stay within the level, and we don't want them to go outside of the boundaries and just trying to break the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another set of tiles around each edge. So let's come through and let's just select the tiles on this edge, and I'm holding down Control to do this. And with these selected, I'm going to hit Control and D. And then I'm going to hold down Control and move those in the X direction until they snap out. And then I'm going to hit Control D again and pull those out this direction, okay, until they snap on the end over there. Now, once we have that, we've got that snapped, let's go ahead and select all of the tiles on this side. And this one might be a little more difficult to do, but we'll go ahead and we'll try to get it anyway. Let's try from this end. Might be a little bit easier to select. And once we have all those, hit Control D, and then hold Control and pull that back in the Y, and then Control D one more time, and then we'll pull that across the other way. Alright, now let's make sure that we have all of the ones on the edge selected. So I'm going to hold down Control, and I'm going to select around those. And actually, I don't want Control, I want Shift. So hold down Shift and then left click and drag. There we go. Let's go ahead and maneuver around to this side. Hold down Shift and left click and drag. And get as many as you can, and then just hold down Shift and select the rest of those. And then we're going to come around to this side, and I'm going to hold down Shift, left click and drag, and get those. So once we have all of these selected, what I want to do is I want to tag them as a dead zone, essentially. They already have a box collider assigned to them, and they're already set as a trigger. And so let's go to our tags, and let's add a tag. Let's go to the tags and extend that, and let's go to element 0, and let's just call this dead zone. Okay. Now with that, let's go back into our scene, and you'll see that we've basically lost our selection, so I should have thought about that. Let's go ahead and reselect those. Just hold down Shift and left click and drag. And then let's go around to this side. Sorry about that, I should have thought of that. And then hold down Control, deselect those two. Then we'll come around to this side. Hold Shift. And then finally on this side here. And try to get most of them, and then I'll come in and just do another reselection. So still holding Shift. There we go. Now with those selected, let's tag this and go to dead zone, and those are now tagged. So what this is going to allow me to do is whenever the player is playing the game, they're going to be able to go ahead and start racing. And if they touch the dead zone, what I want it to do is I want them to basically respawn at a track position, and a saved track position, or a checkpoint, if you want to think of it that way. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a couple of these different track pieces, and I'm going to basically tag them on what they are. And so the first one is going to be a start point. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new tag, and I'm going to call this start. We'll just call it start, and then we'll create another one and we'll call it checkpoint. And then while we're here, let's do finish. Okay. And we'll worry about that a little while later. Okay. So now that we have these, let's select the first one. Let's tag it as start. And then I'm just going to pick some of these different track positions. You can hold down Control and select those, and we'll try to skip maybe one or two here and there. We don't want all of these to be checkpoints. Okay, so I tell you what, let's do this one, and then we'll do one out here, and then one out here. I'll tell you what, we'll do the corners on this. I think the corners would be a good way to do this. So yeah, I think that would be great. So just hitting those corners and saving those as checkpoints. Okay, that sounds good. So now we'll go to tag and then set that as a checkpoint. Okay, so what we're building here is whenever the player is going down, if the player's collider touches one of these track pieces and it's a checkpoint, it's going to go ahead and say, all right, I want to save this track positions, or this checkpoint's track position in 3D space. And then if the player touches the dead zone, it's going to respawn my player at the last checkpoint that it touched. Okay. So with that said, what we need to do in our next lesson is actually create the spawn point script. So what we'll do is whenever we start the game, we'll position the player where it's supposed to be, and then we'll start working on the different checkpoints. So I'll see you then.